Hi, so this is a little tapping video with some internal family systems work or parts work, exploring our inner victim part. So this is a part of us that can feel like a victim in our lives to things like perhaps our health issues, or perhaps, it's reflecting on the ways that I might sometimes feel like a victim still in my life. Like in the past, it would have been, when I was unwell for 5 years, for example, there would have been a lot of victimhood there. And I was actually a victim to some very difficult circumstances, particularly as a teenager. And it's not to negate when we actually have experienced being a victim to something like violence or abuse or anything like that. Those parts of us can need so much compassion, love, tenderness, and meeting. For this video, I'm more referring to the kind of like victim to our lives in a way that is not empowering, in a way that is not feeling like we have any sense of agency or sense of responsibility or capacity to change the situation, when actually it really may not be true. And I think it generally is not. So that's the kind of victimhood I'm referring to. So in my life now, that might manifest as a part of me that sometimes feels a bit of a victim to trying to like keep on top of the housework, or like always be making good healthy food for me and my family, and sometimes just feeling like there's just such a lot, or a victim to time. There's just not enough time to do all the things. So you might reflect for you, how does victimhood show up for you? If you're on a health journey, it might be around like feeling powerless to change the situation, or feeling hopeless. So reflecting on how this part might show up for you. And then we're going to tap with, even though I have this part of me that feels like a victim because, and you might just speak out why you feel like a victim in this situation. I love and accept myself anyway, even though I have this part of me that feels like a victim because. And in my body, when I'm in my victim mentality, it feels, you might describe how it feels heavy, it feels dense, it feels draining, perhaps. It's not supporting you to be in a healing state if you are in that victim part. It's not supporting you to feel in a state of peace or a state of empowerment. So even though I have this part of me that feels like a victim to my circumstances, in relationship to my health, or in relationship to time, or however it shows up for you, I love and accept myself anyway. This victim part of me, and I feel like a victim to this because, and when I'm in this part of me, I feel, and I sense in my body. I'm just speaking through what you notice. This victim part of me. This victim part of me. If you are someone who has done a lot of work on yourself, you might go deeper. Where did this part of me first originate? When did I first feel like a victim? Maybe you were a victim in some way, like I said before. I'm not inviting that deep work necessarily right now, but just having a curiosity and some compassion. If you feel up for going there, you can. What do these feelings most remind me of? Are they even mine? This can be another question, because so often parts of us can internalize, for example, our parents. This victim part of me, this part of me that feels like a victim because. And see if you can offer this part of you so much compassion, so much care, so much love. And what might this victim part of you need to hear from your most loving self, from your most compassionate self? Is there anything you can tell this part of you to help this part of you start to relax and soften? Perhaps be open to a new perspective. I am empowered because. I have agency over my life because. I am an adult now. I can choose how I respond. I can move through feelings of victimhood. And I can become powerful in my life. I can become empowered. I can take responsibility. So whatever it is for you that's the opposite of being a victim, for me it feels like empowerment and being able to make empowered choices and not feel stuck. And for energy to be moving, I welcome my life energy to flow. I welcome my most empowered self forward. A self that can take responsibility for my life, take responsibility for my health and wellness and healing, my growth. So just noticing what this has sparked in you, and then maybe more layers. You may just want to keep tapping with this part of you. You may want to go deeper. And of course, take what resonated with you from what I shared and leave the rest. I wish you well on your journey to greater health and happiness and joy. Bye for now. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already, and my website is francesgoodall.com if you want to know more about my work. Wishing you well today and all days.